years before a roaring crowd at the O2 Arena, announcing his final comeback tour, This Is It.
This is it. I mean, this is really it. This is the final curtain call. Okay? And I'll see you in July.
Tragically, the July dates would never come. June 25th, 2009, Michael Jackson will be found dead in his home. While the world mourned the icon, behind closed doors, an investigation begins. The main question: what really happened that night?
I did not give it to him.
Okay, so if you didn't put it there, who did?
Michael.
This footage was recorded on the evening of June 24th, just hours before the tragedy. In the video, Michael looks energized and full of life, rehearsing intensely. Ahead of him were 50 massive shows at the O2 Arena. Originally, only 10 concerts were planned, but the demand was so high that the organizers, AEG Live, decided to increase the number to 50. Did Michael actually want to perform 50 shows? Of course not. He claimed he was put in front of a fact. One day he woke up and was told it wouldn't be 10 shows, but 50. Michael was shocked by this. He told people close to him that he was only ready to do 10 concerts. He knew his body wouldn't handle that kind of pressure. At one point, he called his mother and said, "Mom, I don't know if I can do this. I can't handle 50 shows." In response, AEG Live claimed that Michael agreed to it voluntarily. After tickets for the first 10 shows sold out, he supposedly agreed to add more dates in London, but with the condition that it wouldn't exceed 50. Many experts and biographers believe Michael was cornered by his own debt. The company's CEO, Randy Phillips, was effectively controlling his life during that period. Even if Michael was against 50 dates, the financial obligations to the organizers, who already invested $20 to $30 million into the show, left him with no real choice. In early June, Michael often didn't show up to rehearsals at all. He was exhausted, fragile, and mentally overwhelmed by the workload. He struggled to remember lyrics to songs he had performed for years, and even asked for a teleprompter on stage, something he had never done before. Makeup artist Karen Fay, who worked with him for over 20 years, later said in court that by mid-June he was so thin she could see his ribs through his skin, and she feared for his life. By June 19, the situation had become critical. Michael was so weak, he was shaking from chills. He seemed disoriented and couldn't rehearse. Director and choreographer Kenny Ortega was feeding him with a spoon, rubbing his cold feet, wrapping him in blankets, and eventually sent him home.
That my friend wasn't right, that he wasn't well. There was something going on that was deeply troubling me. And I did ask him questions and he did answer me. I did feel, though, that he was, not well.
AEG Live was seriously concerned about his physical and mental condition, but not in the way you might expect. No empathy, no understanding, just business. Their goal was simple: get him back into working condition at any cost. The pressure was directed at his personal physician, Conrad Murray. He was being pressured under the threat of losing his $150,000 a month salary, paid not by Michael, but by the company itself. In one email addressed to Kenny Ortega, co-CEO of AEG Live, Paul Gongaware, wrote, "We want to remind Murray that it is AEG, not MJ, who is paying his salary. We want to remind him what is expected of him." Interestingly, when Paul Gongaware was questioned about this email during deposition, he answered, "I don't recall," more than 30 times. He later tried to testify it by saying it was just short-form communication and that he simply wanted the doctor to do his job.
Did you write that email?
I don't recall.
Conrad Murray first met Michael Jackson in 2006 in Las Vegas, when Michael needed a doctor to treat his daughter, Paris Jackson, for a cold. It was after that moment that Murray earned his trust. By 2009, when preparations for the tour began, the pressure on Michael Jackson was rapidly increasing, and he needed a doctor who would be with him constantly. Most importantly, someone who would give him medication without restrictions or formalities. The thing is, By that point, Michael had already been suffering from chronic insomnia for many years. Along with constant muscle pain and anxiety, his treatment had become powerful sedatives and painkillers. He had been taking them for decades. The addiction started forming back in 1984, when a pyrotechnic explosion during a Pepsi commercial left him with second and third degree burns. That's when these heavy drugs entered his life, the kind that caused dependency almost instantly. From that moment on, his life turned into a constant cycle between pain and relief. But in 2005, after a long and exhausting trial, things reached a new level. He moved on to extreme doses, trying to numb not physical scars anymore, but unbearable internal pain, insomnia, and paranoia. From that point on, medication stopped being treatment. It became his only escape from reality. After the breakdown on June 19, the next day, an emergency meeting took place at Jackson's house involving Kenny Ortega, Dr. Conrad Murray, and executives from AEG Live. Murray got angry at Ortega and told him, "Don't act like a doctor or an amateur psychologist. Direct the show and leave Michael's health to me." Despite the director's concerns, AEG Live decided not to stop the preparations. Murray assured everyone that the artist would be ready to perform. Over the next 2 days, June 21st and 22nd, rehearsals were either missed or Michael barely participated on stage. The team was moving from the Forum to the main venue, the Staples Center. The calm before the storm ended on June 23rd. That night, he suddenly came back to life on stage. He was focused, energetic, and rehearsed at full intensity for almost an hour and a half. The same continued on June 24th. He was in a good mood. Everything seemed fine. The rehearsal ended late in the evening, and Michael went home, where the worst part would begin. 1 a.m. Michael Jackson can't fall asleep. He asks Murray for one drug. It doesn't work. Then another one. Still nothing. Closer to 10 a.m. in the morning, completely exhausted from hours of sleeplessness, Michael, in desperation, asks for a very powerful drug, known in his circle as milk.
I got to sleep, Dr. Conrad. I have these rehearsals to perform. I must be ready for the show in England.
Under the pressure from Michael, the doctor relents and gives him exactly what he wanted. This recording was made after the drug had taken effect.
When people leave the show, when people leave my show, I want to say, I've never seen nothing like this in my life. Go. I've never seen nothing like this.
At 10:50 a.m., Michael falls asleep, but he will never wake up again. At 11:50 a.m., Murray notices that Michael Jackson is not breathing. Instead of immediately calling 911, Murray wastes precious time on personal matters. While Michael's life hangs on the balance, the doctor is busy making phone calls to his girlfriend and insurance agent.
The first port of call for a lay person is to call 911. They're calling for a skilled person. I am a specialist. I have the skill. I can start immediately. If you can do CPR as early as possible, that's great. But I don't know how long Michael was down.
So you didn't think you needed to call 911?
No, I'm not saying I don't need. I needed help. I needed help for sure.
Well,
but
911's your help.
It isn't until 12:13 p.m., nearly half an hour after finding Michael breathless, that Murray finally decides to take action and call someone from Jackson's team. He calls Michael Amir Williams, the singer's assistant. But even then, he avoids the truth. Instead of reporting a cardiac arrest, he simply said Michael had a bad reaction and tells him to get there fast.
What did he say?
He said, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm downtown." And he said, "Get here right away. Mr. Jackson had a bad reaction. Get here right away." And I said, "What's going on?" And he said, "Get somebody up here immediately." And then...
And did that terminate that phone call?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Then Murray calls a security guard into the bedroom. Alberto Alvarez rushes in and steps cold, witnessing a total medical absurdity. Murray is performing CPR with only one hand while Michael lies on a soft mattress, an effort that is utterly useless on such a surface. Instead of rushing to save him, the doctor stops and orders Alvarez to help stash medical vials and IV bags into bags. Only after the room is partially cleaned does Murray finally say, "Alberto, hurry, we need to take him to the hospital. We need an ambulance." Murray wasted critical time trying to hide evidence of powerful drugs instead of immediately calling for medical help.
Sir, we have a gentleman here that needs help, and he's not breathing yet. He's not breathing, and we're trying to pump him, but he's not.
Okay. Okay, how old is he?
He's 50 years old, sir.
50? Okay. He's unconscious, he's not breathing?
Yes, he's not breathing, sir.
5 minutes later, paramedics from the Los Angeles Fire Department arrive on scene. They find Michael Jackson without a pulse and not breathing. But Conrad Murray insists on continuing resuscitation. At 1:07 p.m., Michael is transported to the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center. Resuscitation efforts continue for more than an hour, but without results. 2:26 p.m., doctors officially pronounce Michael Jackson dead. Right after Michael was declared dead, a very strange conversation takes place between Murray and the assistant Williams. Murray says they need to go back to the house to pick up some kind of cream.
He asked, he said that there's some cream in Michael's room or house, room, that he wouldn't want the world to know about. And he requested that I or someone give him a ride back to house to get it so the world, wouldn't know about the cream.
To get the cream so the world wouldn't know about it?
Yes, sir.
Williams is shocked. Only minutes have passed since Michael's death, and the doctor is already worried about some cream. Sensing something was off, the assistant lies to Murray, saying the police had taken the car keys. In reality, Williams immediately contacts security and orders them to lock down all entrances to the estate. He understood one thing: Murray must not return to that bedroom before investigators arrive. Later, it turns out that by cream, Murray meant medication used for vitiligo. But people around Michael believed it was just a cover. The real goal was to get back into the empty bedroom and destroy the main evidence, traces of the very milk that killed the king. The trial of Conrad Murray begins only 2 years after the artist's death. At that time, the doctor completely denies his guilt. His version never changes. He claims he never administered a fatal dose. According to Murray, he stepped out of the bedroom for just 2 minutes, and during that short window, Jackson, driven by depression and insomnia, injected himself with the drug.
I did not give it to him.
Okay, so if you didn't put it there, who did?
Michael.
The key witness for the prosecution is Dr. Christopher Rogers, the forensic pathologist who performed the autopsy on Michael Jackson. He rejects the defense's version that Jackson injected himself while the doctor was out of the room. He explains that the level of sedation would not have allowed Michael to wake up and carry out those actions within the 2 minutes Murray described.
Were you able to ascertain and make a determination as to the manner of death regarding Michael Jackson?
Yes.
And what was the manner of death?
The manner was homicide.
The judge sentences Murray to 4 years in prison, the maximum under that charge. But in 2013, he is released after serving about 2 years due to California's prison overcrowding policies and good behavior. Today, Conrad Murray lives far from the Hollywood spotlight. After losing his medical licenses in California, Nevada, and Texas, he eventually returned to the Caribbean. In 2023, he opened a private medical institute in Trinidad and Tobago, where he continues to practice medicine to this day, still maintaining his innocence in the death of the King of Pop. But we all understand one thing. Murray's guilt is obvious, but he is only the final note in a long symphony of destruction. The Pepsi accident in 1984 opened the door to addiction. The 2005 trial burned out everything that was left inside him. and the contract with AEG Live for 50 shows turned his life into a deadly business plan. If you want to learn the full story of Michael Jackson, check out the full documentary by Music Vibe. Don't forget to like,